I'd like to call the meeting to order. Hector, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Hector.
Certainly.
Adoption of the agenda. Any changes?
None.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that the agenda of December the 12th be passed and adopted as presented and recommended.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Say aye. Aye. Very good. Call to the public. I have nothing before me. Looks like we have some public here, but they're here for other issues. Anyone care to come and address the board on anything? Nope. Okay. Governing board updates. Marcy?
Mr. Chairman, I'd just like to, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd just like to congratulate, I attended on the joint elementary choir concert that involved Challenger, Wealthy Elementary, and Lincoln Elementary, and those group of kids did an excellent job in the choir presentation. We have such quality kids that are in the choir, and it seems to dissipate as the kids move through to middle school and the high school. So hopefully our program can be just as strong in the middle schools and the high school as it is in the elementary. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Frank?
We finally got the ditch between the auditorium and the cafeteria paved, and it really looks good. And I think now people will be able to go through that area without getting their feet all wet and muddy. And the maintenance did a hell of a job, let me tell you. You ought to go see it. It looks really nice now. Thank you.
No problem, Mr. Chair.
And none here. Superintendent's report. Mr. Zimmerman?
We'll start with several recognitions. As you recall, in December, we did not have these folks before, so we have to do a little catching up. It's always one of my favorite items on the agenda is to acknowledge the students, and in this case, students and coaches, for some extraordinary accolades that they have made this past fall semester. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring up Judith Mendoza, and Judith can go ahead and do whatever you're going to do. If you're going to send this over to Tim for the athletics, you have the floor, and she has about, what, 6?
Yes.
All right, let's do it.
Good evening, Mr. President, board members, and Mr. Zimmerman. First of all, we want to thank you, Mr. Zimmerman, for giving us the opportunity to present our students in front of you. I'm going to start recognizing one of our students at Nogales High School. Let me say that these students that we'll be presenting, they're not only doing good in academics, but they're also excelling in extracurricular activities. I have Ms. Caroline Crawford. I have her here this evening, and I want to recognize her because not only, I'm going to brag a little bit about her. She is ranked in the 3rd place of her class, 356 seniors, and she's ranked at number 3. Caroline, she's a member of the mariachi group. She's part of FBLA. She's in ROTC. She went to a competition this past Saturday, Dr. Varona, at ASU Skills Day, and she brought a 4th place in public speaking. So you can see that she's not only excelling in the music, the art of music, but she's also doing really good things all around. Caroline was able to audition for the mariachi conference in Las Cruces, New Mexico. The mariachi director sent a demo, and she auditioned to be one of the 5 finalists to perform at the showcase in Las Cruces. Ms. Crawford was one of the 5, just like I said, and there was a scholarship attached to the 1st place because it was like not only having the opportunity to participate, but also it was a contest. Ms. Caroline won that contest, and she brought the Elisa Gastelum Scholarship for $1,000. And I will let her speak a little bit about her experience at the Mariachi Festival.
Hi, thank you for the opportunity to be here. Such a blessing. It was an amazing experience to be there, not only to get the opportunity to win an amazing scholarship as the Alicia Gastelum, but also just to have the opportunity to perform in front of so many people. It's what I love. It's my passion, and it was indescribable. All of my friends were there, and it was like I went into a different world. It was amazing, amazing opportunity.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions for her?
No, just, Mr. Chairman, if I may, a comment? Thank you. It's just that, congratulations, I've been fortunate to see you and your marvelous abilities of performance, musical performance, but you've also come from a strong family background because the percussionist, the drummer, is it David? Stephen, he was a heck of a musician at the campus, though, too.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
The next student that I would like to recognize is Jorge Gonzalez. If you can come up, please. Jorge Gonzalez, he's also one of our well-rounded students at Nogales High School. He is a senior. He's ranked number 4, so he holds the 4th place in his class out of 356 seniors. And he's the president of the National Honor Society, and he's involved in many, many activities at our school site. Jorge is also a leader in our community. So we're here to present, he was the recipient of the Eagle Scout Award, and I want to have Mr. Ken Larriba, Scout Master, just give a brief presentation on what it entails to get that award, that recognition.
Good evening. We're honored to be here, and we'd like the opportunity to brag about George as an exceptional scout. We are usually modest and humble and do not share and over-exaggerate or celebrate our actions and duties as a responsibility, as well as many of the things that are noted here on the walls. George has proven to live up to that without having to be pushed, motivated. The drive that he has learned over the term of being scouts has proven to become well-valued, mannered, and importance to him as becoming a leader for tomorrow. One of the best adults that are going to upcoming in the community. It takes approximately 8 years through Troop 555 in Nogales to become an Eagle Scout. Once you become an Eagle Scout, you are always an Eagle Scout. And George has taken that oath. We are not going to present the Eagle Scout today, as he has yet already received that, and therefore has accepted that from now forever. ROTC, I believe, recognized that quite heavily, as well as many other people in the workplace. If there's any questions after George's presentation, we'd be more than happy to express on that. We do give thanks to you, to the ability to bring it to everybody's attention, and to the Lions Club, who's our sponsor.
And then I will just like to have George just give a brief presentation of his project and what he did to get that award.
Thank you for the opportunity, welcoming me here and receiving this recognition. I'd like to talk about my Eagle project, and basically, I don't know if many of you are familiar with Las Lagunas, but it is a small body of water in front of St. Andrew's Church. And when part of the Eagle Award, part of the being an Eagle Scout, is making a project that benefits the community. And in my case, I found Las Lagunas the perfect place to do so, where I built a bench. I also built a bird blind because this area is very well known for people who watch birds, bird watchers. And lastly, I built a deck, a floating platform where people can stand. And all the project, I did it this summer, and over 250 hours of community service, hours all together within the community, friends, family, and many people in the community helped me, and that is my Eagle Award. Thank you.
We have a few athletic recognitions, and I'm going to have our athletic director, Mr. Tim Colgate, present those. Mr. Colgate.
Thank you, Mrs. Jimenez. Thank you, Board, for having us here. Mr. Zimmerman, I appreciated the opportunity to come up and talk about the athletics and some of the great things that are going on. We didn't get an opportunity last spring to mention the fact that here at the school board meeting that the school did receive the Blue Cup Award from the Arizona Interscholastic Association. The reason I bring that up now is because it kind of goes hand in hand with another award that we just received from the Tucson Football Officials Association. We did receive the Boyd Baker Sportsmanship Award, which is voted on by all of the officials in the Tucson area in southern Arizona. They vote on this award for not only the way our students and our coaches act on the field, but how they are received at the school, how they are treated while they're at the school. But the majority of it always lies on the sportsmanship that our student athletes, our community, our fans, and our coaches, and how they present themselves at the games. And so Ms. Jimenez and I and Mr. Villanucci went to an award ceremony up in Tucson to receive this before Christmas. It was a great honor, and we had a good time with the officials there, and they all appreciate everything that we've done here. As a school. So this award goes to really everybody within the school. It goes to, you know, the security for, you know, greeting and helping, and the custodian and the maintenance for making everything look so great, and the cafeteria, because we do feed the varsity officials after the games, along with, you know, obviously the coaches and the players, so and the fans. So I want to thank everybody for this award and helping us to achieve this great honor. And Boyd Baker was a longtime official, and I know that Dr. Verona officiated with him for many years, and he was also a professor at the University of Arizona. I think Fernando may have even had him for a class, I think. So it was a great honor for us here. Now I'm going to ask Mr. Villanucci to come up here and present some all-state and all-section honors. But before I do that, I want to let you know that Mr. Villanucci was selected as the AIA Section 1 Coach of the Year, and then on top of that, he was the AIA Division 3 All-State Coach of the Year. So he is the All-State Coach of the Year for the AIA. And I'm sorry, before I do that, I do have one other. He wasn't able to make it here. I don't think Aaron Valdez was able to make it. He had to work. We do have a cross-country runner who was also Division II All-State, but he was unable to be here. He's working hard, and he couldn't get off work, so he wanted me to apologize for that. But Aaron Valdez was our Division III All-State cross-country runner, first team. Okay, so Coach Villanucci, if you'd like to come up and talk about your players.
Oh, first of all, thank you. I'd like to thank the community and the school and our administration. You know, Mr. Colgate, I told several times I would not be coaching 3 sports if I didn't have the support of everyone. And I enjoy what I do, and I feel that we're moving in the right direction, and we're very successful in what we try to accomplish at Nogales High School. So, you know, thank you very much. I wouldn't be able to do it without you. And I'd like special thanks to a community member that I never get to thank him enough, but Dr. Guy Crawford. You don't know how many times I call that guy, and I asked for a favor. We need medical attention, or this kid, we need help here beyond, you know, tape and ice or something. And with his valuable time, he always finds time for my phone call and the athletes that we send over. Thank you very much, Dr. Crawford. Okay, we had a couple members of the football team that couldn't be here tonight. Alex Medina, he has a soccer game tonight. Alex was our kicker, and he was first team all-section and second team all-state as a kicker, and he did a wonderful job for us as a kicker. And Brian McCarty is not here. He is first team all-section running back, and he was second team all-state running back. And Brian's a junior, so we're looking for him hopefully to be all-state next year at running back. And our first all-state First team All-State selection was Nick Colgate, which won 3 awards. He was first team defensive back, first team long snapper, and first team all specials utility offensive player. You know, everyone asked what that was. Nick played or knew every position on offense, and when we needed, you know, something, or a player, a fullback, receiver, quarterback, fullback, running back, Nick jumped in there and helped our offense. We averaged 40 points a game this season, and Nick was a major part of that. Besides, one of our leading tacklers on defense is between Gilbert and Nick, who had the most tackles, and that's, you know, that's why you have a successful offense, because the defense does a great job, thanks to these 2 guys. Next is in the back is David Barba. David, come on over here. David was first team section defensive end, and he was also first team all-state defensive end for defensive linemen. And David was our outstanding lineman and a captain on the team, and did an outstanding job with just his position on the field and what he did defensively. Did a great job for us, and that's why he was selected All-State. And Gilbert Duran, Gilbert's been playing football forever. If you ask the Desert View coach, he thinks Gilbert's a little older than what he really is, and he said that during warm-up, he's yelling at me. He goes, "I know that kid's a red shirt senior." I said, "No, he might be 20-some, but he's not a red shirt senior." No, Gilbert's a senior. He played 3 years at middle linebacker, and what a pleasure to have. First team all-section linebacker, first team all-state linebacker, and player of the year. Right here, player of the year. So that's what Gilbert's Christmas present was this year. We had a little picture, all-state coach and all-state standing there. Didn't know what else to get him, but it was nice. And really, we had such a great team with these guys, and we had a lot of fun this season. And like I said, I couldn't have done it without the community, the school board, and our administration, and of course the players, you know, working so hard and everything. So thank you very much. And another thing, that was an awesome, beautiful dinner that we had for the Sportsmanship Award. You know, they really had this place nice with all the officials, and it was a serious moment. And at first I didn't know what to expect, and during the ceremony I realized how precious the award was. So, and that goes to everybody also, okay? Thank you very much.
Lisa Montiel.
Good evening, Porfy. Okay.
Porfy, you just keep doing it,
I
don't you?
know, this is our year.
You just keep doing it. You just love coming back.
Yeah.
Now with a different sport, folks. A different sport.
I'm truly lucky to work with a bunch of great people at Carpenter. And Porfy's going to introduce the basketball team and the soccer team. And Porfy, come on.
Board members, it's a pleasure to be here again. Mr. Zimmerman, thank you guys so much. I'll just get to it right now. We won 2 championships second quarter. We won girls soccer and boys basketball. So I'd like to just start off with my basketball team real quick. So my boys basketball team, you guys come up here, stand up front real quick. They're all shy guys. You hold on to it.
Except when they're in the classroom.
Oh yeah, except in class. But when they're around girls, you know, they love to talk.
Right.
Well, this is just a portion of my team. My other kids that aren't here, they are dedicated to other teams that they play with, traveling teams, and I've always told them to never let their team down. So I'd just like to give you that heads up before I go ahead. We went 6-1. We lost our first game. It's very special to me that they won because we did win last year as well. So we want to just keep this trend going with winning in basketball. My kids, they put in a lot of effort. They put in a lot of hours. They don't stop working. You know, they never give up. And that's the one thing I coach them is, you know, just never give up. Never give up in sports. If they don't give up in sports at this age, it's most likely that they won't give up in life. So, you know, I just always pressure them. I have 14 kids on the team. One kid got an F for like 5 days. Other than that, my kids were eligible the whole year. So we take a lot of pride in that as well. You know, I'd like to introduce my kids. I have Carlos Mada, Edgar Ambris, Nate Bermudez, Damien Mendoza, David Ochoa, Jose Estrada, Calm Gordo, Brian Esparza, and Luis Grant. Together as a team, we won. Okay, it wasn't no one individual. Okay, it was the Eagles as a team. My boy right there, Jose, though, you know, he was our most valuable player, and he helped the team a lot. But without the other 4 guys on the court working with them, this wouldn't have been possible. So I just want you guys to remember that, you know, they can never take that away from you right there, that plaque, that name on there. You guys are champions, and they can't ever take that from you. So don't you forget that. You hear me? All right, you guys just keep up that hard work, stay in the books, and stay bouncing that basketball, and one of the two will get you to where you guys want to go. Just stay with it. All right, you guys? Thank you guys so much. You know, I love you guys. Sorry, I'm nervous. And next, I'd like to bring up our girls soccer team. If our girls soccer team could please come up. They're all here. They're not going to miss this. They got dolled up. They're ready to go.
Look like they're going to the prom. You guys are serious over Wake Harper. I like that.
Definitely. This is our girls soccer team. They won their championship for the Desert Plain Leagues. And as well as my basketball team, they're celebrating a back-to-back championship victory as well. So I think second quarter works good for Wade Carpenter. What do you guys think, huh? I think it works. You know, these girls, they started off slow. They lost their first 2 games. But I don't think you guys lost another one, did you? Right? I don't think you guys lost another one. So they started off slow. They lost their first 2 games. They kept fighting. They got to where they had to go. The championship was what, 5-0? 5-1? 5-1. You know, and their first game, what was your first loss? Like 0-10 or something like that? You know, that's a big flip. You know, that's a big 180 for them to do that, and I'm very proud of them. You know, another reason why they started off so slow is because half of these girls had never, and I just played for Wade Carpenter, they had never played soccer before. And, you know, to go from 0 to 100 the way they did, you know, it's there's not very many words that can explain that. You know, so like their coach says, with hard work and effort, they got to where they had to go to get. You know, and I'm so proud of you girls. You girls are awesome. You know, I wasn't there because I was always coaching these guys, but I got to watch you guys play in the championship, and you girls look pretty good. I think you'll beat my boys' team right now, honestly. I think you'll beat them. You know, but without further ado, I'd like to introduce each young lady we have on our team. We have Michelle Aguirre. Just smile and wave so we know who you are. There you are. Giselle Barragan. Yomaira Benitez. Sorry if I said it wrong. Did I say it right? Yeah. Erika Grijalva. Kaylin Gutierrez. Victoria Morales. Abril Ochoa. Yeli Ortega. Berenice Rodriguez. Alexa Ronquillo, ¿fuera? Valerie Torres, and Yanitza Vega. Their coach, Ms. Marisa Haragi, she is an awesome teacher, coach, everything. She's a great inspiration for these girls. She puts so much effort into them, into the Galileo, into the Ames. She's a very special young lady. I'd like to thank her for what she did. I'd like to thank you girls for what you did. And above all, you know, we all do good for one reason, and it's because we have an awesome boss. So I'd love to thank Principal Montiel for what you do, because you give us the reins to ride it, to go, but you always in the back of us making sure we do good, and you know, knowing that you're there, but also we have the freedom to do what we do, the way we do it. It's very special to me. So once again, I'd like to thank you so much. You're very special to me, and I'd like to thank you again. Thank you, girls. Thank you, boys. And parents, everybody, I thank you guys so much for these kids. Thank you so much.
I didn't know Porfy was so sugary. So sugary.
Oh, yeah. He's a great athletic director, too. This is why things are happening at Carpenter. Thank you, Porfy. Thank you.
Okay. Toby, standing holding the wall back there.
School board members, Mr. Zimmerman, thanks for the opportunity to share in yet one more celebration. You know, on that field of play, maybe we don't run as fast. Maybe you don't kick the ball quite as far. Maybe we don't bring home some of the same trophies. But the smiles are just as big, and our hearts are just as full of pride when we win. Mr. Canto took our soccer team to the Phoenix Valley Invitational in December, took 3 teams, brought back 1 gold and 2 silver from all those teams, and we're proud of him. And we're proud of the individual athletes, and I know many of them that are here tonight, and when you hear your name, please come forward.
Aaron Fonseca. Fernando Cepeda. Isaí Lerma. Adam Balandrán. Ángela Hernández. Miguel Martínez.
Thank you. We took 3 different teams, junior high, high school, and elementary. And the elementary team did awesome. Those kids play really hard, very good games, and same with the high school and junior high. The team that we faced over there were unified teams. We just have a self-contained teams. They did great, and we have some parents that went with us, and we have a great time. And the kids play hard, and they represent Nogales pretty well too. Thank you.
Mr. Barajas.
Good evening, Dr. Nash, Mr. Zimmerman, members of the board. It's a pleasure to be here. I'd like to present to you Mr. Larry Brown from the VFW, who is going to present the winners of the Patriots Pen contest held and sponsored by the VFW. Mr. Brown.
Good evening, board members, Mr. President, and community. On behalf of the Veterans of Foreign Wars, Post 2066 here in Nogales, every year for the last 8 years, I've been asked to judge an essay contest called the Patriots Pen. This is an essay contest that is for middle school, 6th to 8th graders nationwide. Here in Nogales, we compete through all Santa Cruz County schools, with the exception of Patagonia, has the opportunity. This year, we had 180 essays that were entered. Out of that 180 essays, we get them, there's no names on the essay. The topic this year was, are you proud of your country? And I'll tell you, I'm a school teacher at high school, and reading these essays took me about 3 boxes of Kleenex. Because reading the words that these young kids have to say about being an American, as a combat veteran myself, and as a dad and a teacher, it just, every year it gets more and more exciting. And when you read these essays, you had 180 of them, and you're like, they're all fantastic, but you always have to pick a winner. And we picked 3 winners, first, second, third place here locally. Third place was a young lady that came out of Calabasas in Rio Rico. Second place this year was Lauren Chamberlain. I believe she's here tonight. And I tell you, Lauren's an 8th grader at Desert Shadows, and she makes me proud to be an American. And Lauren was given a savings bond for $200, along with a certificate and a medallion. The good thing is she's an 8th grader. She's going on to high school next year. She'll have 4 opportunities in high school, because we also offer an essay contest. Parents, write this down. An essay contest called the Voice of Democracy. The Patriots pen ultimately has a $10,000 national prize. And the way you win that is you win locally. When you win locally, you go on to District 7, which is the VFWs from Rio Rico all the way to Safford. There's 15 organizations that they choose their winners. Out of those 15, there's another winner that goes to state. This Saturday was the awards announcement of the state level. And this year we had a winner for first place, again from Desert Shadows, Melina Oropeza. This young lady is a 6th grader. So she's got 2 more opportunities to win $10,000 at the national level, and she's on her way. Because I don't know if you've heard the news. You won't see it on CNN, but she won 2nd place at state. Her essay was sent over to the district, the VFW District 7, and it won first place there. That essay went on to the state level and was judged, and against 6th, 7th, and 8th graders in the entire state of Arizona. You make us proud to be an American, I'll tell you that. Congratulations. By winning 2nd place at state, she's been invited, and I'll share the information with you and your parents, she's been invited to go to Sierra Vista to the VFW on the 29th of April, where she will receive a plaque, as well as, I was told, a little bit over $500. Not bad. But this doesn't happen on accident. For the last 8 years, the middle schools here have really done a great job of introducing this essay contest to the children. But I'll tell you what, at Desert Shadows, they've got a couple teachers over there that really take this to heart. They understand the opportunities, and they have their classes do it as a class project, but they don't give them any influence on how to do it. But I'll tell you what, as a high school teacher, reading these essays from the middle school, I almost took my marker and crossed out the names and took them to my high school to show high school kids how to write. Because we all know with Ames, they need to know how to write, they need to be able to graduate, and these 2 young ladies are definitely on your way. Thank you so much. Thank you.
The last one that we have is Sofia Gomez, and I'm doing this one Dr. Verona doesn't know, but he's helping me. Let me hand this book out to you. The last time we met, Sophia, come on up here. Oh, maybe come back there and get you. Last time we had Sophia up here, Dr. Verona, we had went up to Phoenix for an award that she had won, and then eventually what came about is that she became a top 10 finalist, and then a few short weeks after that, she became a top 5. And if you take a look at that book, you'll see the 5 individuals that she was up against, and I think that I'll tell you right now, sometimes I can be a sore loser. I saw her at the end, and I thought she got robbed because they did this presentation of all the teachers, and all of them were very good, but I still thought she was number 1. I'm not being biased. I just thought she was number 1. And but since then, as we were up there, we were listening to the Teacher of the Year from last year and was talking about this, this road that she will be going through for the next year. And so she's been busy. She did not win Teacher of the Year, but she certainly represented Nogales proudly as she stood up there. And the way that she presented herself, the passion that she displayed was magnificent. People probably thought you got robbed too. I don't think it's just me, but since I'm up here, I'll say it. But she has been on a ride. She was in the Fiesta Bowl parade lately because we got pictures. And it looked like when I was hearing all the things that she was going to have to do, I started thinking, Annette, you might have you had to get somebody to take her classes over because she's like on tour. So say a couple words of what your ride's been like. We are very proud of you, though, so congratulations.
Thank you very much. Good evening. First of all, I would like to thank all of you for such an incredible journey, and it has been an amazing ride. And I would like to thank Mrs. Barber and Mr. Zimmerman and everybody here tonight, because without you, I wouldn't be accepting this recognition tonight. It has been just the highlight of my career, I believe, and I wouldn't be here without my students, of course. And like Mr. Zimmerman said, we've had some incredible luncheons and dinners. I've met some very amazing people so far, and it's only begun because it's, you know, all this year I've started going to meetings up at the Capitol, and I'm on a committee now, and I've been asked to speak at a few places, schools, and so it's been great, and Mrs. Barber has been great getting substitute teachers, and it has just started. I am, my title is Ambassador of Excellence in Education. I'm not the Teacher of the Year, so I can't imagine how, you know, busy her schedule is. But my schedule looks pretty busy, and Mrs. Barber is accommodating that. And my students are missing me, too, in the classroom. So but, I'm not sure what else to say, but thank you very much.
Yeah, I have something that you can answer now. Okay. So what about all that money you won? And don't think we forgot, because we were all around that table. We were wondering you were getting money left and right.
It's been great.
You don't have to tell us. I was just,
I know. It's great. No, it's there. I haven't, you know, done anything with it. I haven't spent it yet, no. And, you know, I received money, and I have 2 laptop computers now, and some smart board education tools, a scholarship to possibly go and do my doctorates, and what else? What else did I get? And yeah, Mrs. Barber's taking it off. Just really, really nice prizes.
Sophia,
It's
thank you.
been great. Thank you, and
Congratulations.
to the best of my ability, I will represent Nogales.
Okay.
Oh, my ice cream party.
Kathy, come on up. We're going to give you a grants update because we are now just getting close to, you know, we're approaching this spring. You know what that means? It's the budget season, and we want to sort of give this grants update pretty soon here. Shortly, we will be discussing study sessions for the budget for this next year, but at least give a quick idea. Did you have a question?
Mr. Chairman, just if I may, please. Mr. Zimmerman, it would be nice if you could make some accommodations so Mrs. Gomez could work on her doctorate degree and give her some release time from here, because there's not too many that get a scholarship like this for a full paid doctorate degree. So I hope you give her some time to go ahead and work on it.
Okay. We're just kidding. I think that we've already had that. Well, she and I have had a couple emails already, so I think she knows she has our support.
Okay. Good afternoon, evening, board president, board members, Mr. Zimmerman, colleagues, and other people in the audience. I'm here to make a presentation on the grants so far this year, which is a very bright picture compared to 1 year ago today. Most of our grants did not get final approval until March or April of last year. But like the coaches that came up here, the principals that came up here and spoke to you, nothing is achieved without a team effort. And there's many, many people in the district that have helped me to get these grants. It's not something you can get on your own. But you have a sheet in front of you, the audience does not, so I want to go through some of these grants. Irma Mili Fontes is our Career and Technical Education Director, and she has 2 grants, very successful. 147,821 is the basic grant, and the priority grant for another 75,198. What is used for this is, just as it says, career and technical education, especially at the high schools where we have vocational programs, and those rooms are really decked out. If you haven't gone to some of our vocational rooms, our foods, our sewing, our auto mechanics, the computer rooms, you will see that we have some of the best equipped vocational programs, thanks in a large part to Millie's efforts. In special ed, Dr. John Utney is in charge of those. You can see that we have a monitoring grant for 1,000 paraprofessional tuition. That helps our parapros if they want to become special ed teachers, and we have 2 young ladies that are on that path. And so we pay for their classes so that they can become a teacher. We grow our own, as they say. These 2 ladies have finished all their community college level classes, and both are now taking classes from NAU to become special ed teachers. We have the preschool grant, and Dr. Romero at her school monitors the exceptional preschool, where kids who will have challenges get to start as young as 3 years old. And by giving them that experience when they're in regular kinder, given their level of disability, they have a greater chance of success because they've already been in school 2 or 3 years. We have, Dr. Utney also monitors the secondary transition grant for a little over $11,000, and that helps with professional development. I did not put down the big one, the IDEA basic, because we submitted that and they kept giving us money. When we submitted it, they said, oh, you have to monitor in another $161,000. So we submitted it, and last week we got rejected because they wanted us to monitor in $6. Yeah, you're talking about over $1 million grant, and you have to be to the penny. So Dr. Utney and I met last week before the break, and we put in $6, and I'm sure that it'll get approved soon, and when it does, I'll bring that one back. Because the special education grant, the basic entitlement grant, is the mainstay of our basic special needs programs. Then for general use, we have what's called rural and low. Only a few counties get this, a few districts. You have to be rural, and you have to be low income. And of course, Santa Cruz County, Nogales qualifies. We get $150,833 for that, and you have the sheet in front of you, but the audience may not know. That's what we pay our school resource officers from at the high school and the 2 middle schools this year. Ms. Cantu also organizes a summer science and math camp, and this year we're paying 3 of our teachers out of the Nogales High School Summer Institute. There's other things in these grants. I would have to have a page per grant to list every little thing, but these are the major things purchased. Our Title I grant is our biggie, $2.89 million, and we divide that between the 10 sites, the district, Lourdes Catholic, and Sacred Heart. If you didn't know, maybe the audience doesn't know, that by federal law we must service the private schools in special ed and in title programs. So I meet over there with the sisters and their representatives. You think our principals are tough? You know, working with these nuns, they're very definite in what they want. And I've been very pleased to do that because I firmly believe that we're all kids of Nogales. Okay? And it's very important for us because these kids may eventually come to our schools. They come and go sometimes. And we want to make sure they're as prepared to do well at Nogales High School as a kid from Lincoln or Welty or whatever. And so we're working very closely with them. They are very congratulatory towards the district because they haven't always, in the last 2 or 3 years, felt as included. Our Title II grant, our Title I, by the way, is only to be used to enhance reading and math. Okay? And I do want to say that this year, we have been able to loosen the reins a little bit on technology. I came the last week of February last year, and my first day I had 3 phone calls from 3 different principals saying, get us technology. We don't have the computers we need. We don't have the equipment we need. And so I made that my top priority. Thanks to Mr. Kramer, who has some influence with the State Superintendent John Huppenthal, he had a discussion with him, and other people, the reins have been loosened a little bit, and out of that Title I grant, we got a rolling laptop for the Nogales High School English department, so they can work on a program called Achieve 3000 Teen Biz, which I used the last year I taught there, and in my 35 years of teaching, it's the one computer program that I thought was outstanding. And I've used many over the years. And now we have the opportunity from every kid, from the kids in ELD classes to the honors classes, to use this because of all the computers at the high school, there's many needs on them. You've got your vocational kids, you've got your special ed kids, you've got your regular students, all vying for these 2 or 3 labs that are open, and now we're bringing the labs to them. Plus, look at the time it saves. If you have a 50-minute class, and if any of you try to herd 30 sophomores from the H building to the lab, you can lose 10 minutes right there just getting there, no matter how good a herder you are. And now the lab is coming to them, and you'll see that we also have that down below. Our Title II grant is for professional development. We have this year $634,794 for professional development. And that's quite a kudo for the district, and Mrs. Canto again spearheads that. We have a combination of sending people out, because we must. In some of our requirements of grants, I know what some of the attitudes are towards travel, but you must attend a national conference. That's a requirement, and you must attend. Ms. Canto and I and some other directors must attend some state workshops. But wherever possible, we now bring them to us. And we bring these professional development teams in, and they can train many more people at once. And then our philosophy the last 3 or 4 years has been to have teachers become trainers of teachers. If any of us send anyone on any of these professional development, outside Nogales, inside Nogales, they are mandated to share what they have learned. It's no longer, well, I went to this great conference in Phoenix for 3 days, come in, close my classroom door, and I'm glad I went, you didn't go. Okay? They are required, mandated to have workshops for their fellow department members or classes or team leaders or grade leaders, whatever it is that they're going to. For example, last year we spent money to have 12 teachers at each of the sites do this education enhancement through technology. They got to do an online program, and every one of them has already done their workshop at their sites. Title III, look at this one, $580,584 for ELD programs and supplies. We had a huge carryover this year because the grant did not get approved early last year for whatever reasons. And so we had this huge money, and we got a call from the State Department that said, use it or lose it. And now each elementary school also has a rolling laptop lab to use. That's up to 7 rolling laptop labs, 6 at the elementary schools, 1 at Nogales High School. Okay. Then we have from the ARA funding, I don't know why this happened, but some schools did not spend what they were given. And so they took that pot of money and gave it to schools that had spent it. I believe we were out of millions of dollars within $23 of spending it. And you're going to be a little off because you can never quite guess the tax on some things or the shipping. So we were given just about a month ago $16,469 from ARA funding. Now when I make this report for you, I have to give it to Mary about a week before the board meeting so she can put it in your packets. But in that week, we've got 2 more allocations. You may have heard that the state of Arizona won Race to the Top funding. That's the funding from Washington that goes to states, and then the states filter it down. We missed round 1. We missed round 2. We would have gotten $25 million, but $200 million. Now we got $25 million for the whole state. But Nogales' allocation out of that is $132,402. Angel and I sat through a webinar last week where they explained how we can use that money. That money is to be spread over 4 years for training in Common Core and STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math. And I think we all will willingly acknowledge that our math and science areas could be boosted. Okay? And so this will give us an opportunity for training in that area. And then just the other day, I got notification that enhancing education through technology, again, some schools didn't spend everything they got, so they gave some more to schools that had used it wisely, and we've got another $1,228. And with that, we're sending Alex Lopez, our tech dude, to a conference in San Diego in the summer, and he will come back and train his department, which will come back and train each of the 10 schools. So it filters down, even though it is travel. Okay? Now, the other thing I'm very proud of is that later in the agenda, you will be approving other awards. If you don't know about the White Elephant, if you're on the board, you probably do, but some people in the audience may not. This is a group in Green Valley that runs a thrift shop, and they get all these donations from wherever, and it's like a very high-class thrift shop. They're not going to have things in there that are just a piece of junk. It's not just a junk alley. And from those allocations, they then give these awards to schools in our district and anything south of Green Valley. And this year, we had more award winners than ever. Some schools had never actually applied because they just were out of the loop, but this year I made sure that every school got an application. Bracker's getting $4,000 for school-wide activities. Mitchell, $10,500 for uniforms, computer hardware, workshops, and educational field trips. Welty, $6,000 for library books, computer technology, supplies for tutoring, and educational field trip. Pearson, $4,000 for computer supplies and software, and food for parent-teacher conferences. Desert Shadows, $7,500 for uniforms and technology, and Carpenter, $6,500 to help pay for the sport physical fees, sports uniforms, staff and student incentives, and field trips. That's quite a bit of money when you add it all up. And then, because I had made that pledge to bring technology to the district, one of the first people I saw after I got the job was a gentleman named George Silva, who you may know as a county attorney, because I know that the county attorney has this fund whenever they make a drug seizure or a vehicle seizure, or the drugs are in a house, they can even sell the house. They take that proceeds from those seizures and they give it to enhance student education. And Mr. Silva has pledged $25,000 to buy computers for Pearson in their technology, their online tech program. And then I went to see Gear Up to see what they could give us, and unfortunately Gear Up didn't get funded this year. But Annette said, let me introduce you to Steve. And Steve is a guy who works for our county school superintendent, and he has computers that he has gotten for the county from a group called Arizona Strut. This is a group that takes old computers, or discarded computers and renovates them to teach people, teach kids, not kids, older people, 18 and above, computer skills. And after they go through this program, they have all these renovated computers. We are getting 270 computers with a value of $67,500, with the promise of as many computers as we want in the years to come. We will not take the computers. Alex will check these out if they need anything. The last thing we want is a computer that we then have to put something in it to make it functional. But they promise that all the computers they send out are just like new. Okay? Are there any questions or comments about grants? Grants are a very significant part of funding, and we've done very well with grants. Okay.
Kathy, I'm sure we'll have more discussion in the spring. As you know, last year grants was affected to where we had to make some reductions in staff, and we're actually working on that right now, so there'll be more to come, I'm sure.
Steve, that was about almost $5 million, just about $90,000 short. That's amazing.
That's a real good job.
Thank you, Kathy. Item C and D, if there's any questions.
No?
No.
Let me give a quick update on the mariachis. I sort of informally have let the board know, but this is an official meeting, so I want a record, just so you all know that a few months ago we decided to do a nomination for the mariachis to be one of the performers at the National School Board Association Conference in Boston. Over the years, I've had the privilege to actually go to a lot of them. I've seen a lot of great performers, but every time I hear the mariachis, I think that they would really bring something unique and very exciting to that conference. We were notified that not only were they selected as one of the top 3 performers, they are the opening act at the first general session. And that will be held on April 21st, beginning at 10 o'clock. That's when the opening session begins. In addition, we had to have something else for them to do, so we made a contact to the Boston Red Sox, the PR. Kathy and I and Juan drafted a letter, and today we spent time this morning with Caroline Crawford doing a demo of the national anthem, hoping that maybe she'll be able to do the national anthems at the Boston Yankees series, which starts on the 20th, 21st, and 22nd. We FedEx that package about 4 o'clock, and then we'll do like we did with the NSBA. We'll continue to contact them. And also, something for the entire mariachi group is that we also have a contact with the Greater Boston Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, seeing if there are some things that we can have those students do while they are in Boston, and hopefully give them an opportunity, a learning experience to experience Boston and a little bit of history. So we're still working on it. As a matter of fact, Ms. Mendoza and I are meeting with the parents and the mariachis tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. in one of the pods at the auditorium to talk about some of the things that we do know and some things we don't know yet. So any questions? That concludes. Yes.
Mr. Chairman? First of all, Mr. Zimmerman, this idea of entering our mariachi band was an excellent idea when you and our chairman, Dr. Nash, went to the national conference in San Francisco. I hope that Dr. Nash, you can represent the board again over there. I think it's very important that there be a representative of the board there. But I think that the both of you, thank you for the idea of recommending and going through this process to make sure that they at least compete, but that they were selected as the top with over hundreds of applications is a great reflection on the good musical program that we have K through 12. The only other thing that I would just suggest, Mr. Zimmerman, is I think it would only be fair, since this is something that we as a board committed to, that we as a board should pay for all of the expenses that are going over there, that we should not place a burden on the kids and the parents to go into a fundraising mode for this. This is going to bring absolutely, in my opinion, $1 million worth of positive PR for our district here, and the good things that we offer here, especially being highlighted at the opening session among hundreds of school board members nationwide. So I am of the opinion that the school district should pay the expenses.
Thank you.
Any other board comments? We'll move on. Item 5, information and discussion items. There are none listed at this time. Item 6, consent agenda. Approval of routine warrants, purchase orders, travel claims, employee leave and transfer requests, and employee resignations. Any matter on the consent agenda will be removed from the consent agenda and discussed at regular agenda items upon the request of any board member. Are there any items that any board members request to be removed from the consent agenda?
Mr. Chairman, I don't have any.
I don't have any. No.
Item A, approval of December 12, 2011 regular governing board minutes and January 11, 2012 special board meeting minutes. Item B, approval of ratification of expense payroll vouchers. Item C, approval of ratification of student activities auxiliary operations vouchers. Item D, approval acceptance of donation of 270 computers to be placed in classrooms to technology department. Item E, approval acceptance of donation from White Elephants, $7,500 to Desert Shadows Middle School to purchase uniforms for families in need and for technology purposes. Item F, approval acceptance of donation from White Elephants, $6,000 to Welty Elementary to be used to purchase library books. Item G, approval acceptance of donation from White Elephant, $10,500 to Mitchell Elementary to purchase uniforms, computer hardware, workshops, and educational field trips. Item H, approval acceptance of donation from White Elephant, $4,000 to Bracker Elementary to be used for school-wide activities. Item I, approval acceptance of donation from White Elephant, $4,000 to PVHS to be used to purchase computer supplies and software and refreshments for parent-teacher conferences. Approval acceptance of donation from White Elephant, $6,500 to Wade Carpenter Middle School to be used for sport physical fees, sports uniforms, staff, student incentives, and field trips. Item K, approval acceptance of donation from Santa Cruz County School Superintendent's Office, $1,000 to Lincoln Elementary to be used for student incentives and educational field trips. Item L, Nogales High School Marching Band to perform at Disneyland Main Street Parade on March 9, 2012. Item M, approval of personnel agenda summary. Item N, approval of volunteers for 2011-2012 school year.
Mr. Chairman, I move that the consent agenda be passed and adopted as presented and recommended.
Second.
Any discussion?
Second.
Any discussion?
Just one, I want to make sure that the superintendent thanks all these wonderful donors, and we do so in writing, and I promise I'll never say another white elephant joke in my life. Because these people have been wonderful. Yeah. And let's make sure that they understand that from us.
Very good. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Next item, executive session.
I don't think we need either Roman numeral 7 or 8.
Do not need that? Okay.
Unless the board desires to go into exec session.
All right.
I have nothing.
And I don't have nothing.
Item 9, action item, appointment of Dr. Molly Alcarez as A.J. Mitchell president.
I'm just going to read what I wrote in my agenda item summary. On December 21st, 2011, the leadership team composed of myself, Fernando Parra, Lucino Romero, Maida Zuniga, and Angel Canto interviewed 9 applicants for the A.J. Mitchell principal position. As a result of the interviews, background, and reference checks, the team is unanimously recommending Dr. Molly Alcaraz. In our opinion, Dr. Alcaraz, if we take a look at all the things that we know about A.J. Mitchell, one thing that we really were looking for is someone who we believe would be a best fit. Not to mention, though, she has a very strong understanding of the curriculum, and she certainly has done her homework about what has been going on at A.J. Mitchell. She probably knows the scores better than most of the people in this room. So with that being said, we believe that she's the individual that we need that is going to move A.J. Mitchell in the direction that I think that we want to move. So we are unanimously recommending Dr. Molly Alcaraz, who is in the audience this evening. She's sitting in the back.
Mr. Chairman? Yes. I make a motion based on the recommendation of the superintendent that Dr. Molly Alcaraz be appointed principal of A.J. Mitchell School.
Is there a second? Second. Any discussion?
Mr. Chairman, just a point. Were there any comments from the superintendent of the school district she's coming from or the high school principal?
I can tell you that I did some checks with quite a few people, and normally I do my checks on individuals that aren't on their paper. I can tell you her references were fantastic. One of the key things that kept coming up is that there was some opening right away in those districts that she would be highly considered to be moved into those positions. Everything, even people that I know at the U of A that I'm sure she knows, gave her just glowing recommendations. I felt very good. I think they were very candid discussions. I felt very good. And upon appointment, just so you know, that we will be assigning a mentor, because there are some things that I think that she will need to know in terms of how we do business. Also, upon acceptance, she will be having several meetings, whether it be with the technology department, the curriculum department, all the departments that are going to bring her up to speed so she can get into this position and start making moves that are appropriate now instead of waiting and feeling it out for a year or so, because there are some things that at A.J. Mitchell that need to be done immediately. And one thing I like during interviews is when they interview back, when the candidates interview back, making sure that it's a good fit for them as well. And I felt very good that between the committee and Dr. Molly that we have an understanding.
Thank you, Mr. Zimmerman. My final last comment is I was just kind of disturbed that when I was reading a school board member's letter to the editor in the Nogales International today, I kind of got the impression from that school board member that they were kind of indirectly chastising us because we were taking somebody from them and the obligation of a contract, that we should not do anything with a contract. So even though I've always felt if a person is going to advance, you know, I've always felt let him go, let him advance. We'll work it out. But I don't know.
Very good. That is a very good point. I did not read the editorial, but I wrote myself a note over here. Her acceptance is also a two-way street. I have asked Dr. Molly, when we told her that we would be making this recommendation, I told her don't quit her job, because we don't quite know sometimes what the vote's going to be. And now she has to do something. She knows what she has to do. She'll have to go before her board, and if she is let out, fine. If she is not, then we will have to go to the next steps and probably have another discussion with this board. So I'm also in the same belief that I really don't stop people from pursuing their endeavors. And I would like to think that many boards don't hold people back from doing that, but we'll see what they say when she approaches her superintendent and tells her what's going on here. But good point.
Mr. Chairman, thank you.
Mr. Chair, just
One quick question. Can you share with the board who her mentor is going to be?
It's going to be one of two people. Let me just put it that way. And one person I have talked to who is willing to do it, and the other person is someone who I talked to a little bit that I told her I would talk to tomorrow, but the two would either be Dr. Romero or Lisa Montiel.
Quite a good experienced principals there. That's all, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
If there's no more discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Passes unanimously. Welcome, Dr. Alcaraz. We look forward to having you in our district. Item 10, Governing Board Future Requests. Marcy?
Mr. Chairman, I have none at this time. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Frank?
None.
Nothing, Mr. Chair.
A question to the board. I know, do we need to look into what we're going to do for a full-time superintendent?
Well, I think it would be appropriate for you to schedule it and talk to the superintendent, and I'm just going to follow your leadership on that,
Okay.
Dr. Nash.
I wonder what the board's pleasure would be with that.
Go forward with that.
All right, great, thank you. All right, adjournment. Have a motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Lisa.